Hello, everybody. Hopefully, there's somebody out there. Hopefully, there's a lot of you out there listening. This is DJ Dazzy Dave at SQM Radio. Okay, I can't even take myself seriously for something like a training program. Folks, it's David Lipton, and I guess you are all going to be my listeners or guests. I'm going to be your entertainment for the next half hour or so as we go through a training seminar for integrity inspections. This is the first time that we've done anything like this, so we have a couple people who are testing the program out, and I'm hoping that everything is working properly. I'm going to be stalling for the next couple of minutes, hopefully give people the opportunity to get online if there's a couple of stragglers, and then we'll get right into things. It's 4:03 by the clock on my computer. I'm probably just going to babble away for about 2 minutes, and then at 4:05 we'll get down to the serious stuff. Hoping that everybody is having a good time today wherever you are in the country. Hoping that the weather is good. And thank you very much for being part of the SQM team. I should mention that. I'm hopefully going to remember it a few more times over the course of the next half hour or so. It's a little disconcerting for me to just be sitting here in a room talking where I'm not interacting with anybody. Usually I'm either on the phone or a conference call or in a meeting. But now I know how disc jockeys feel, just sort of sitting there in a room, spinning the hits and talking or giving the news. Again, it's 4:04. We're going to get going in about another minute or so. I do have a quick little bit of introductory information, but we are going to wait until 4:05. And it should take, again, about 25 minutes or 30 minutes if I stay on track. And then after that, there'll be a time for questions and answers. There are going to be two different ways for you to send us questions today. The first is to send your questions to mindy@sqm.ca. That email address again is mindy@sqm.ca. The second way, apparently, of providing questions to us is through the chat function on the YouTube account. I believe that chat function, I'm told, is only available if you have a Gmail account. So again, if oh, okay, apparently we are going to be changing microphones here, so hold on a second. We're just changing to a different microphone system, so you will not hear me for about 10 or 20 seconds.
Okay, I think we're back now. I guess it's like almost being on the other side of the moon or something during re-entry. Hoping that this is okay. I'm going to just stall again for another minute or so just to make sure that I get the thumbs up from the other folks who are listening. And apparently I have the thumbs up. Okay, so let's get down to business. Again, thank you very much for all being part of the SQM family and part of today's training seminar. I'm David Lipton, and I guess I'm going to be your host. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the owners at SQM, and I was one of the first people to do the integrity inspections. So as much as there's some other great people here who know all about the programs and could do the training, I thought I would sort of start off because there's such a big group, and we'll take it from there. A little bit about SQM for those of you who aren't completely familiar with us. We are a mystery shopping, or as I like to call us, a brand standards inspection company. We're based here in Toronto, but we do work right around the world. We probably work in about 40 or 50 different countries. Most of the work we do is in Canada, and most of the work we do is in the United States, but we do take on different programs, projects, and offer services all over the world. We have a number of different types of inspections, market research, field merchandising programs and services that we offer. This particular training seminar is going to be focused on integrity inspections. When it comes to the integrity inspections are very focused mystery shops. We are focusing specifically on cash and liquor control issues. Most of the work that we are doing is in restaurants, bars, or hotels. The odd time we will be doing inspections, integrity inspections in a retail environment. The reason that we do them is because, well, quite simply, we were asked to do them back a number of years ago when we first started our business. And back then, when we were a tiny little company just starting out, beggars couldn't be choosers. And if we had an opportunity to do some work that fit in with our mystery shops, then we were happy to do it. Over the years, we've built a reputation, especially because of my background and my business partner's background in the hospitality and tourism industry. So a lot of companies will come to us to have us provide this service. The reason that most hotels and restaurants do utilize the service is they want to make sure that whatever money is coming into their business stays in their business and isn't going out through, say, unofficial profit-sharing means. The inspection, in terms of the training that we're going to do today, I know that it is just online, that you're only hearing me, that you're not seeing anything. We've done that on purpose just because the checklists often change. I don't want everybody to focus on the checklist. They are very simple checklists compared to the more detailed mystery shopping checklist. Again, you're just looking at areas, usually names, dates, times, and a few questions on each evaluation form on each checklist. They are very easy to complete. It truly isn't rocket science. In fact, I sometimes believe that these inspections are easier to complete than just a quality and service mystery shop. In some cases, the inspections actually pay a little bit more than your standard mystery shop. Plus, in addition, there's usually a few perks in terms of food, some drinks, some stays in the hotel, nights in the hotel, the likes of that. The benefit for you is that even though we have thousands and thousands of inspectors across the country or around the world, there are less inspectors that are doing these. They have to be trained, they have to be certified, if you will. So there's much more of an opportunity for you guys to do work in the particular areas that you live in or when you're traveling. I would encourage you to all take notes. If you have any issues, we're going to be reviewing the information. Of course, you could send us emails or calls. I'm hoping that we're not inundated by emails and calls right after the program today, but don't be shy. These are important inspections. They're near and dear to my heart, and I want to make sure that you have all the necessary information. Again, I think I mentioned it, but some people might not have heard. If you have any questions as we're about to get into things, please email either mindy@sqm.ca or just respond on the live chat on YouTube. I believe the live chat is only available if you have a YouTube account. One other item that I want to mention just as we're about to start the actual training is, over the course of the next half hour or so, I am going to be providing you with 3 words in the middle, well, now, in the middle, and at the end of the training. Please write down these words. This is how we're going to know that you were on the training call and when you respond, and I'll get into that later. So the first word that we're going to be using is guitar. So jot that down, very important. Just write down the word guitar. Okay, so a little bit of information as we get into things here now. These reports are very important. They must be submitted within 24 hours due to our short reporting timelines and our requirements. This is a little bit different than mystery shops. Sometimes with mystery shops, you have a little bit more leniency, a little bit more flexibility. These have to be provided to us within 24 hours of the inspection. The other thing is, unless otherwise indicated, You must always pay cash for purchases. You cannot put it on a credit card. You cannot put it on a debit card. You cannot pay by check or any other means. It must be cash for these purchases unless we explain or request otherwise. You never ask for a receipt for these inspections. This is completely different from a normal mystery shop. In the case of a normal mystery shop, if you don't provide us with a receipt, sometimes you are not paid for the for the inspection. In this particular case, unless we ask otherwise, you never ask for a receipt when you are doing any of these inspections. If you do receive a receipt or a bill, we do encourage you to take down all the necessary information. We ask you to take a picture of the bill, but we also ask you to leave the bill on the bar, the table, etc. If you are ever provided a receipt, you never ever take the receipt with you. Okay, so the first area that we're going to get into is the lounge and bar integrity inspections. For the lounge and bar integrity inspections, typically you'll be paid $15 for a short visit. That could be just coming in and buying a drink and leaving. You might also be paid up to $50 or in some cases even $75 for a much longer inspection, like a 90-minute type of visit. Plus you're of course reimbursed for the drinks and the tip. The process is fairly simple when it comes to these bar inspections. You are to sit at the bar unless otherwise specified. Sometimes you are told sit at the wood. The wood is just a fancy way of saying the bar. You must obtain the names and the descriptions of the staff who you interact with or observe. Some inspections will require you to target a specific employee. This will be in your special instructions. You may also be provided a photo or other description in the special instructions. In some cases, you'll be provided a floor plan. If you are provided a floor plan, we ask that you document exactly where you were sitting in the outlet in the bar. Feel free to bring a guest, but the ordering procedure must stay the same. It's usually a maximum of 3 drinks, and usually you're ordering 1 drink every 30 minutes. So even if you and your guest arrive at the same time, you can't buy more than 1 drink at a time, or it ruins this particular type of inspection. Sometimes I suggest that your guest arrives 10 or 15 minutes after you, so you've already purchased the first drink, and then if you stall a little while, their drink could be the second one if you wait until the 30-minute mark. Some assignments will have different requirements, purchasing a total of 2 drinks, ordering double shots. Please read the special instructions. Always bring photo identification with you. These days, even folks who are in their 40s, 50s, or 60s are sometimes being asked for ID based on an outlet's policies. So please bring photo ID, government-issued photo ID, and I don't believe health cards are appropriate. I don't think they actually have your date of birth on it. I might be wrong. When it comes to purchasing the drinks, again, you're purchasing a drink every 30 minutes for a duration of 90 minutes. That's usually the case. Usually that means 2 alcoholic drinks and then 1 alcoholic drink unless otherwise noted. Watch to see if the drinks are immediately entered into the cash register or the POS system. That's the point of sale system. You will very rarely be able to see exactly what is entered into the cash register or the point of sale system. You will be able to see that they are at least pushing some buttons, and that's all we want to find out. The rest we leave up to us and the client. Typically speaking, you are to leave your money right there on the bar to pay for the drink while they are actually in the process of making that drink. And when they serve the drink, just indicate you might have to leave and just kind of push the money in their direction. Again, always pay with cash. If a bill is presented, you must record the following information: the date, the time, the check number, the table number. If there's a name of a server or a server number, write that down. The total amount and anything else in terms of additional notes, whether it says duplicate check, reprint check, etc. We ask that you take a photo of the bill. This is being asked by most of our clients these days. Of course, if you are doing so, make sure that you're doing it discreetly and then attach the photo to your report. Leave the receipt again on the table or the bar. Do not request a receipt if you have not been provided one. Again, never order more than you were instructed to do. Never order more than 1 drink at a time. We should also mention that you cannot order bottled beverages, no bottled beer. The best drinks to order would be a mixed drink, something regular, not something fancy schmancy, but just a rye and Coke or a rum and Coke or a gin and tonic. You could order draft beer. You could order house wine. You cannot purchase any food during this inspection unless otherwise noted. You do not run a tab. That's why you're paying and putting the money right down on the bar. You don't want to run a tab. You want it to be individual purchases. Finally, I should mention that you don't have to finish each of the drinks that you're ordering. If you don't like those drinks, or if you're driving, we encourage you to just leave the drink to the side. If you could discreetly take it to the washroom, you could flush it down the toilet. Or if you have a guest that likes drinking, well, they could drink it. Items to watch for in this particular type of inspection: the drinks must be immediately entered into the cash register, the POS system. Mixed drinks should not be free poured in most establishments. Free pouring means that they're pouring it without a measure dispenser, either a shot glass or what's called a posi pour, a measurement device that is on the top of the bottle. Sometimes some locations are allowed to just have their bartenders make it look like they're putting on a show and pour alcohol, and sometimes have the glass low and the bottle high, and it looks like there's a lot more coming out, but it really isn't that much. But again, they should be using a dispenser unless we're told otherwise, or unless you're told otherwise. Finally, all incidents that occur should be documented. If the bartender is giving away free drinks, that should be written down in the report. If there's underage patrons or intoxicated patrons in the bar, it's very important, it goes without saying, to write that in the report. Other things to look for include the cash drawer being left open in between purchases or in between transactions, or also, although it's not a cash or a liquor issue, is that an ice scoop should be used to scoop ice. It's very dangerous for those bartenders who want to speed things up and use a glass, and you never know, glass and ice look the same, and God forbid something is cracked or chipped and ends up in the ice drawer. So again, please keep those in mind. Again, bartenders giving out free drinks, underage patrons in the bar, intoxicated patrons in the bar, the cash drawer being left open, or not using an ice scoop. Okay, we're going to move on now. The next inspection that we're going to talk about is a buffet integrity inspection. The buffet integrity inspections usually pay $15 to $25 per inspector. And when we say per inspector, typically this is done in teams of two. Either you and a guest, if both of you are registered inspectors, or in some cases you will just be paired up with another inspector in your particular area. Of course, aside from the $15 to $25 that you're being paid for your time, you also get the cost of the buffet and a tip. And usually the buffets are pretty darn good. At least my experience is that you can enjoy yourself and have a lovely meal. This is a fairly easy inspection again to complete. You and another trained inspector are going to enter the outlet, the restaurant, within about 5 minutes of each other, and you're going to sit in the same section. The goal of this inspection is to sit in the same section and have the same server serving both of you. Once the first person is seated, the second person can call or text the other inspector and let them know where they are seated. And of course, you must be discreet. Don't be shouting out the names. The second person can come in and request to be seated in that area. They can request a table, say near the buffet or near the window, based on the situation. They could also even mention a specific server and say, hey, is Bob here? Bob took good care of me the last time I was here at the hotel or at the restaurant. Of course, this way it narrows the chance that you're going to be seated somewhere else, that you'll hopefully be seated in that particular location with Bob the server. Both inspectors must order the exact same thing. Typically, this isn't rocket science at a buffet. You're ordering just the buffet. Most breakfast buffets come with coffee and juice, so you don't have to order another beverage. In some cases, for lunch or dinner, you might have to order another beverage. You have to plan this in advance with the other inspector. When the bill is presented, you record all the information. Again, the date, the time, the check number, the name of the server number, the table number, the total amount, any additional notes, like I said last time, that it says duplicate check, reprint check, etc. It is extremely important to have the check number for this, folks. Once you get that information, we suggest that you take a photo. Again, do it discreetly so that you could then attach the photo to your report. You must obtain the names and the descriptions of the staff you interact with. Don't just go off of the bill, but make sure that you're writing down the information based on name tags, or again based on the description of whoever takes care of you. You must pay with cash for this inspection. Leave the money on the table, and then leave the restaurant. I should mention that when you're leaving the cash on the table, please have enough cash or small bills that you cover the cost of the buffet. You could always call up ahead of time to find out how much that buffet is, the tax, and of course a gratuity. But you have to pay cash. You're not waiting for change. You're just walking out of the restaurant once you leave it. After the first inspector leaves, the second inspector should do the exact same thing. Ask for the bill, take down the information, take a photo, pay with cash, and leave. Some inspections will require you to target a specific employee. Again, this will be in the special instructions. Sometimes you'll also be given a photo or a description. Again, like with the bar, if a floor plan is provided, please document exactly where you were seated during the inspection. In terms of important areas to watch out for, first and foremost, we just need the information from the bill. The most important piece of information on the bill is probably the check number, but again, all of those other areas that I previously mentioned are important. The server number, the server name, the date, the time, the amount, etc. You can also take some additional notes regarding quality, service, and cleanliness if anything major stands out. But again, this report has nothing to do with quality and service. It is all about cash control. Okay, we're finished with the buffet integrity inspection, and we're going to go on to a similar inspection. This is the restaurant integrity inspection. This inspection usually pays $15 plus the cost of a meal for one and a tip. Usually this is done at dinner time, but sometimes you'll be asked to go late night or sometimes for lunch. The process, it's very similar to the buffets, except in this particular case, you'll probably be ordering off of a menu. It's usually that you would be asked to get an entree, a beverage, and in some cases we might ask you to get a dessert or an appetizer, but typically just an entree and a beverage. Do not order the buffet if there is a lunch or a dinner buffet. When the bill is presented, record the information. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but the date, the time, the check number, the name of the server number, the table number, the total amount, and again, whether it says duplicate check, reprint check, or anything else that stands out. Take a photo of the bill. Make sure you are not seen doing so. Again, please be discreet, and please attach the photo to the report. Obtain the information regarding the names and the description of the staff you interact with or observe. Again, you must pay with cash. Leave the money on the table, including the tax and a gratuity, and leave the restaurant. Provide a detailed description of the server in your report and their name. I think I already mentioned that, but sorry, I just wanted to go through that again. Some inspections will require you again to target a specific employee. You'll see that in your special instructions, including a photo or a description. If a floor plan is provided to you, please again document where you were seated in the restaurant. What to watch for this particular report? Again, it's very similar to the buffet inspection. We just need the information from the bill. And of course, if there's any outstanding issues in terms of quality, service, and cleanliness, please feel free to write those down. Okay, here we go. Geez, I'm cooking with gas here now. The next inspection that we're going to talk about is the integrity inspection for what I call cafes or grab and goes. A lot of hotels these days have a Starbucks. It's usually just a place to grab a coffee and a muffin in the lobby area. In this particular inspection, you'll be purchasing something small, like, as an example, a coffee and a muffin. You're going to be paying cash. What you want to do is, this happens very quickly. You'll be ordering your items. You're going to carefully ensure that the item was entered into the cash register or the POS system. and that your money was also put into the restaurant. I'm sorry, not into the restaurant, into the cash register, into the cash drawer. You got to be alert, because again, from the time that you order your coffee or your muffin to the time that it's being rung in a busy establishment, it usually is only a few seconds. So you just have to stay focused. You can't go wandering around the lobby, your eyes, or you just have to stay focused on the particular transaction. If a bill is presented, you're going to simply leave it there on the counter and walk away with your items. It usually helps to have, other items in your hand, so it looks like you're in a hurry or you're a little frazzled, but you just put down the receipt on the counter if you got it, put the change back in your wallet, and walk away. Ensure that you receive the correct change before you put it in your wallet. I should mention that. But again, don't say anything if you do get the wrong change. Just note it in your report. But finally, obtain the names of the people that you dealt with, the staff members, a description, as well as any name tags that they might have been wearing. In terms of what to look for in this report, there's really nothing other than the correct change that you are going to be able to tell from the inspection whether they've done things correctly. That is something that we do along with the staff at the hotel. Okay, moving on. The next one is a room service or an in-room dining inspection. This is usually a little bit of extra fun because you sometimes spend the night there, depending on whether you're doing one or two meal periods. Typically what we have you do is a dinner period after a dinner inspection, excuse me, the evening that you check in. And then the next morning you do a breakfast inspection before you leave. Again, let me just clarify. I guess this is me talking for too long here. For an in-room dining or a room service inspection, you will typically do 2 meal periods. You'll do a dinner on the night that you check in, and then you will do a breakfast the next morning before you check out. You'll be staying as a guest in the hotel for obvious reasons that you're going to have to be in a room. Again, you'll be ordering a breakfast and or dinner buffet. Dinner meal. It's just a meal for one. You must charge the room service order to your room. That will be done when you call to place your order. Now here's the important part. When the room service attendant is about to leave your room after providing you with the tray, in some cases, in some of the hotels, they'll set it up for you. You want to ask them that you would like an extra item as you hand them, say, a $10 bill. Now, of course, make sure that whatever item you are ordering is something under $10, something small, and something that doesn't have to be prepared by the kitchen. So as an example, a glass of juice in the morning, a muffin, a coffee. In the evening, it could be something like a piece of pie or a piece of cake, a scoop of ice cream. Those items don't have to be prepared by the kitchen. They just have to be picked up by the room service attendant. When the extra item arrives, do not ask for a receipt. Again, if a bill is presented, just record the information, the date, the time, the check number, the name of the server number. Sometimes even for room service, it'll have a table number written on it, the total amount, and anything else that you notice, duplicate check, reprint check, etc. Take a photo of the bill. Make sure you are not seen doing that. And then you either just leave the bill on the table. Of course, they're going to be in close proximity, so you could just leave the bill later. It's not like you're going to hand it back to them. And of course, don't forget the names and the descriptions of the people that you interact with. In this particular case, what to look for: if you do not get a bill from the second item, please take down the information and take a photo. If you do get a bill, my apologies. If you do get a bill from the second item, take down the information, take a photo. Again, you could just leave the receipt on the tray when you're leaving the room. If there are any items that stand out in terms of quality, service, and cleanliness, please write them down on the report. But again, this report focuses on cash and liquor control. It is not to be used. It is not to be used, or is not generally used for quality, service, and cleanliness purposes. Those are the traditional mystery shops. The next one we're going to be doing is the valet integrity inspection. The fee for this inspection is usually $15 plus the cost of parking and sometimes a tip. In most cases, a tip, I would think. For this particular inspection, what you're going to be doing is parking a car with the hotel valet service, not self-parking, but you're just going to be coming up. Usually the bellman or the doorman or hopefully a valet attendant will just greet you at your car and out you go. There are two ways that this assignment can be conducted. This will be noted in the special instructions which one you are to complete. Sometimes you'll be asked how much it'll cost to park for a few hours or for parking overnight. You'll always attempt to pay cash. You have to make sure that you have enough cash to cover the expense. In some cases, it could be as much as $50 to park for a night. I guess I'm in the wrong business if you can make $50 off of one parking spot each night. If the valet attendant indicates this cannot be done, just follow their instructions. That means that they're probably doing things properly and they're not just accepting your money. If the valet mentions you do not require a ticket or does not provide you one, do not insist on a ticket. Again, it's like asking for a receipt. Don't ask for a receipt. Just go with the flow. If they do provide you with a ticket, record the ticket and any information that is on that ticket. You have to record the information as soon as you leave the area. Don't wait until the next day or until you're picking up your car, because chances are if you do have a ticket, you're going to give that ticket back to them eventually, and then you won't have the information that we need. So again, if you are provided a ticket, as soon as you leave the area, write it all down. Do it before you get into killing a few hours or overnight, just because when they do retrieve your vehicle, your ticket is gone. Obtain the names and the descriptions of all the staff you interact with. In some cases, it will just be a valet attendant. In some cases, it might be the doorman as well. And in some cases, it might be a bellman. If you do have a ticket or a receipt, of course, take a photo, make sure you're not seen doing so, and then attach the photo to your report. When paying, hand the employee your ticket and the cash. Again, do not request change. Make sure that you have something that is around the amount that you are going to owe, plus a few dollars for a tip, depending on whether you were there for just an hour or two or overnight. Use your discretion. Do not ask for a receipt. Again, if you are provided a receipt, take down the necessary information, anything that is on that receipt. What to watch for this particular inspection. If you do not get a ticket, again, just write that information down. If you do get a ticket, write down the information as soon as you leave the area. If you do have any other notes that you want to make comments on, or if you have any comments that you want to make notes on, include in terms of service, safety in the area, cleanliness, anything that stands out. But again, we're there for cash control. All right, I think this is the last one here. I'm firing away here. The last one is an inspection that is not done at all restaurants, bars, or hotels. It's done at certain times of year and at certain places depending on where you're located. And it is a U.S. cash control or U.S. exchange inspection. The inspection usually pays $15 to $25 depending on the project, and it usually depends on how many different places within a hotel we're asking you to leave bills. When I say bills, I mean U.S. currency. In most cases, you will be staying overnight as a hotel guest for this inspection. That's just because most hotels will only exchange cash with registered hotel guests. You must obtain U.S. currency before arriving at the hotel. You will either do two different things. You will actually, before you check in at the hotel, we'll tell you to pick up an envelope that will be waiting for you somewhere at the front desk. The other way that we get you the cash is sometimes we ask you to go before the inspection to a bank and exchange some of your own currency. If you are asked to do that, first of all, you'll be paid for your time and effort. Secondly, you will also be reimbursed, even though there's a little bit of a difference between the exchange rate that you're paying at the bank and the money that you're going to be getting from the hotel. Don't worry, any difference, any spread will be covered by us. There are two ways that this assignment is conducted, and again, the special instructions will indicate which one you are to complete. Exchanging U.S. currency for Canadian funds just simply at the front desk, or paying for an item either at the restaurant, the bar, or the gift shop, etc., with the U.S. currency. So in the case of exchanging the money at the front desk, you would be giving a certain number of bills. You'll be getting back a certain amount of cash, and other than the exchange rate, everything should match up. Of course, if you are purchasing an item in the restaurant, the bar, gift shop, etc., there's going to be a difference because, of course, you're paying for a particular item, which is coming off the total. You must take down the serial numbers and the denominations of the U.S. bills before beginning the inspection. Write them all down, take either photocopies or photos of them so that you have that information. Whenever you are exchanging U.S. cash, get the name and a description of the staff that you're interacting with. Make detailed notes of how the cash exchange is handled, how much money you gave, the denominations of the bills, and of course the serial numbers, and how much money was returned. There will be items on the report, or there will be questions on the report, so that you could jot down the denomination, the serial number, etc. You must look out for the exchange rate that it's typically posted at the front desk. There might be a sign in the restaurants as well. Again, it'll list exactly how much the exchange rate is and how much you'll be provided back. Please mark this down for your report. Immediately after you leave the area, and this is very important, folks, immediately after you leave the area where you exchange the money, you're either going to be asked to go to a house phone and or email a contact person that we'll provide you with. When you either call the person up or email them, simply identify yourself as the SQM representative, tell them what employee you had exchanged the money with and which currency or serial numbers or denominations were used. And again, this must take place right after the exchange, not the next day, not after you check out. Within minutes of you making the exchange, you are to go to the house phones or go to email, whichever way is in the report. What to look for this report? Again, you need to know exactly what bills you have and the serial numbers of each bill and which ones were left with which employee. You need to know how much money was returned to you from each transaction. And again, if there's any particular notes on service, cleanliness, any issues that stand out, please write that down. By the way, I guess this is a good opportunity for me to come up with the second word. The second word that you have here, call it the secret word if you will, is track. Okay. So I have now finished the actual integrity inspection training. And I guess we're to the stage where I guess it's a question and answer period. Now, I need my supporting cast here to help me out with this to see if there are any questions. Again, if you have any questions, you could provide them either by emailing mindy@sqm.ca, or you could put them on the live chat, which is only available if you have Gmail. My supporting cast is arriving, and I am... Oh, apparently there's a plethora of questions here.
Start with Brian right there.
All right. Brian's questions and answers. Okie dokie. Sorry, there might be a little noise in the background here. This is a little new to me. So the first question that I have is, can I order rum and Coke and a glass of tap water at the same time? Good question. I don't have any names of who provided this, but I suppose in a way that this is actually a very non-evasive ask of the tap water. I would prefer, and I think it would be safer, better safe than sorry, to just order the rum and Coke and then just wait a minute or two and order the tap water, or vice versa, order tap water and then get the rum and Coke. But I think it's better safer than sorry to just order one drink at a time. Sometimes they just might be marking down something funny or entering it just if somebody else is helping to get that water. So yeah, just get the rum and Coke. Don't order the two at the same time. The second question is, if both people order tea, for example, does it have to be the same kind, green tea? And that's for the buffet inspection. It depends. It would have to be the same if you are ordering the tea from the server. Yes, it has to be the same. If the tea, in some cases, for the buffet, the tea would just be sitting at the buffet, and you just pick up whatever tea bag you want. In that particular case, no, you don't have to order the same tea. But if you are ordering the drink from the server, yes, it has to be the exact same. The next question I have is, can you do the inspection with someone you know who is also certified, or do they have to sit at different tables? Example, me and a relative, and if we go alone, how will we know how to coordinate to find another shopper to be the second one? Sorry, I'm not completely understanding this, but if we are doing an inspection, you can have a second person who you know, if they are certified, if they are one of our mystery shoppers, they're an SQM representative, they could certainly request to do the inspection with you. But in most cases with the buffets, you are sitting at two separate tables. So in some cases, it might be just, in most cases, it is just one individual / one inspector at each table. In some cases, you may be asked to go with a guest, so it's you and a guest at one table and another inspector with their guest at another table. The guest does not need to be certified, only the people who are doing the inspection. So there has to be one, call it a certified inspector, an SQM representative, a mystery shopper of ours at each of the tables to do this inspection. In the case of knowing who the other person is, we will provide you with all that information, unless it is somebody who you already know and you've coordinated ahead of time for the assignment. I hope that answers that question. Sorry to babble on. Do we have to go in a team for restaurant integrity inspections? When it is a meal for one, it is usually just one person going to do the inspection, and that one person will sit alone at that table and then leave after their meal. The next question is, what happens if employees we are to monitor are not there? That's a good question. In most cases, we will tell you to just continue with the inspection, whether it's at the bar or whether it's a buffet inspection. You're already there, and you will be paid for that particular work. It's not our fault that the person wasn't there. Sometimes it might be safe to stay around for a few minutes before you sit down, if and when possible, just in case the person is on a break. But again, we do realize that sometimes these issues occur. The next question is, what if we don't get a bill for the second item for room service? If you don't get a bill, good question. If you don't get a bill, just write that down in your report. Again, like with all of these other integrity inspections, never ever ask for a bill if you aren't provided a bill. If the person didn't bring a bill back, because remember, you've already paid for that second item ahead of time, don't worry about it. Just write it down and write down how much you had given the person, but never ever ask for a bill. The next question, if a hotel assignment, if it's a hotel assignment, will you be reimbursed for the hotel stay? Of course, we will reimburse you for all out-of-pocket expenses that that we are indicating are going to be part of that particular inspection. The next question here, do you want
pics only, or do you accept PDFs of the receipts I'm thinking they're talking about? When it's given to you, can you take a photo of it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm just going to babble here with somebody here in the background, because I just call it photos, but I don't know how they're attached to the actual reports. Is it PDFs, or how are you attaching? Oh, apparently any format is okay to attach. You're attaching this to your report, PDFs or JPEGs, whatever the case might be. Something that would be fairly standard would be much appreciated. Our IT department is busy enough, so hopefully it's something easy and standard. From Anna. this will be the bills you took or the bills you receive. Sorry. So in terms of the good question, for all of the reports, when I'm saying take pictures of the bills, I'm talking about the receipts that you receive, the bills. When you buy a drink and then they put down that you owe $7.95 plus 13% HST or whatever it is, and that sometimes it'll arrive on a tip tray or a billfold. Those are the photos that I'm talking about taking. The exception there would be the U.S. currency. The only time you need to take photos of the bills that you're paying with would be when you are doing a U.S. currency inspection. We don't need the Canadian currency that you're using on a regular basis. We don't need the Canadian currency that you receive when you're doing a U.S. exchange inspection. The only bills that you're paying with that we need photos of would be the U.S. currency, and that's really a combination for both your benefit, so that you know what you have, as well as ours for the report. I hope I know I babbled on a little bit with that answer, but I'm hoping that helps you guys out. Sorry, I think it's Cecile, if I have it properly, is not clear on the U.S. exchange inspections. When you purchase an item, do you pay in Canadian or U.S.? Good question, Cecile. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. When you are purchasing an item for purposes of the U.S. Cash exchange inspections, you will be purchasing the item with the U.S. funds. So again, there's two different ways that we conduct the U.S. exchange inspections. Sometimes you are just asked to go to a particular area of the hotel, usually the front desk, and exchange currency. So you'll give them, say, a $20 or a $50 or $100 U.S. bill, and you will get a certain amount of Canadian money back. In other instances, we're asking you to go to a restaurant, the bar, the gift shop, different places within the hotel, and pay for a particular purchase or service. If we're asking you to pay for a particular purchase or service during a U.S. exchange inspection, you will always pay with the U.S. currency. However, you will be getting Canadian currency back. The next question is from Stephanie. I wish I could do this like on the radio and I say, hi, Stephanie from Oakville, but I don't know where Stephanie is from. For the buffet and restaurants, do you get the inspection fee plus the cost of meal and tip? Yes, Stephanie, you are paid the inspection fee. I can't remember exactly what it is because I'm on a different screen, but I believe it's $15 to $25 typically for the buffet and the restaurant visits. Oh, I think a buffet is $25 each, I'm told, and the restaurant is usually $15. Plus, we will give you back the cost of the meal and the tip. In some cases, depending on the location, you might also be receiving parking, but that would be noted ahead of time on the special instructions. And Candace, we're going to say Candace from Alberta. I have no idea where Candace is, but hello, Candace, wherever you are. Are tips mandatory and are they reimbursed? Tips are not necessarily mandatory, but I would say they're highly recommended. You do not have to be a philanthropist and give out a lot of money for the tips, but you should probably acknowledge the service. This is the service industry, and give them a certain amount, even if you want to make it simple on yourself and give 10%. Instead of trying to calculate 15% plus, just give them a little extra. And yes, the tips, the gratuities are also reimbursed. The next question is from Alan. Alan, if we're sent to a destination location strictly for a buffet or bar, do you cover parking? Good question. I think I just touched on that a minute ago, but it was probably after your question came in. Depending on the locations, we may or may not be providing you with parking. It's kind of based on the locations. And again, that would be noted in the special instructions, I believe. The next question is from Priya. If you do an overnight hotel assignment, can you bring a guest with you? Absolutely. If you were doing a hotel assignment, you could bring a guest. I would suggest that it be a two-legged variety because not all hotels will allow a four-legged variety, whether it's a dog, a cat, I don't know, a cow, a goat, whatever other pets you have. But yes, you can bring a guest. Again, though, the meals that you're getting or the drinks or the beverages, etc., it is always typically for one person. You could have the second person go across the street and purchase their meal, go down and purchase a meal and bring it up to the room, but it should never be purchased the same way that the inspection is occurring. Okay, Elena, approximately how much U.S. currency will be provided or needed to exchange? Good question. Typically, I think the ballpark is we're usually doing about $100 for each of the integrity inspections, but usually it's $20 bills. Sometimes it's $50 bills. So you're usually given 3, 4, 5 bills that make up a total of about $100. Some instances might require a little bit less, some a bit more, but again, that would be noted in the special instructions. The next question, for the buffet inspection that we do in pairs, if we do it with another SQM user, do they have to be cleared for integrity training from one of these seminars? Yeah, we are trying to get there. In some cases, we might just be able to spend a few minutes on the phone training the second person so that you guys could go together, or have somebody that you know. As you see from the last half hour or so, it does go fairly quickly. So in certain instances, if we have the time, we will certainly gladly train that person. But there might also be exceptions where they don't have to be trained from this particular seminar. The next question, in a hotel room service setting for the last minute item, the $10 type of item, to pay cash, what do we do if the employees insist on putting it on the room bill instead of taking the cash? That's fine. Just go with the flow. Write down that you received a bill. I don't think you'll actually have that charge at the time. They would take the money, or they might just say, no, you know what, keep the money, I'll bring you a bill when I come back. Don't force anything, don't change anything. That's perfect. That's really what they should be doing, I think, quite frankly. The next question, this is from Fred. We're going to say Fred is from, I don't know, Halifax. Hello, Fred from Halifax. Sorry, I'm bored. This is what happens when you give me a speaker, a microphone, etc. Fred is asking, if doing a buffet restaurant inspection, can I have a guest and pay for the guest myself? No, Fred, in this particular case, unless we're sending you as a couple, in some cases, buffet inspections would be a couple, then we ask that you just go alone and be at the table. The problem is that while you might have the most honorable of intentions, if they write down the charge or add the charge to the initial bill, they don't pay attention to your requests, etc., then the inspection is not usable, and then you also wouldn't be paid for that inspection. So again, this falls under better safe than sorry. There are a number of inspections that do come up, buffet inspections, where you can take a guest. Both of you would have the buffet, and then the other table also, it's 2 people sitting there. So keep an eye open for those. The next question, is there a limit on parking for downtown Calgary inspections, as parking here is ridiculously expensive? Well, my first comment is that's what happens when you move out to Calgary. I know I love you Westerners, but I do know how expensive it is. I also feel for you, because the Calgary Flames, well, they're like the Toronto Maple Leafs of a few years ago. So yeah, my heart goes out to you. Again, there's typically not a limit. If we are picking up parking, we would ask you to use your discretion. We don't want to bill for $500 for a night because of some fancy lot where they washed and waxed your car. But generally speaking, as long as you're using your discretion, most of the expenses are going to be covered, as long as we are saying ahead of time that we will cover those expenses. The next question is from Christy. Oh, Christy, a family member, so to speak, here, I'm told. Mindy says hello. Since we're paying cash and not taking the receipt, do we just tell you how much was paid, including a tip? Yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned this. Good question, Christy. Again, because of the training that we're doing, and I guess I've always learned to trust everybody unless they give us reason not to. We are going really on a trust factor here that you're providing information and accurate information. We do have some tips and traps so that we have some checks and balances, if you will. But yeah, we're just going off of what you say. Again, we're not asking you for receipts. If we ask for receipts, then that totally blows out of the water the purpose of these inspections. So there is the honesty and trust factor here for these particular inspections. The next question, I noticed some inspections require certain training level to be achieved before getting assignments. Does this training override the other training? The other training, so I guess we're talking about just regular STEP program. In most cases, it would not. The other training is it's covering different items. In some cases, on a case-by-case basis, it might override, but the STEP program is for the regular quality service inspections, where this integrity inspection training is, of course, for the cash and the liquor control inspections. Okay, we have Lillian. Lillian is from London, just because of the alliteration there with the name. If the instructions say that the inspection has to be done at a certain time range, say between 7 and 9 a.m., does your entire visit have to be completed within this time period, or does it just mean that you have to start within this time? Good question, Lillian. I would say that it typically just has to begin with that time. I would suggest, just especially because of buffet inspections or any buffets, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, any meal period, is that you want to arrive a little bit not as close to the end, preferably. I shouldn't say closer to the beginning, but try not to do it last minute, because sometimes they start shutting down the buffet. They will be closing down the different steam tables and the likes of that. So to be able to get the proper experience, it's probably better not to wait right until the end. But at the same time, please don't freak out if you get stuck in traffic, if there's an issue getting there and you do only get in at, say, 8:50 a.m. and the inspection was called for 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Don't worry, you still made it under the gun, but try to get there a little bit earlier. Okay, the next question.
This is a mystery shopping question, but we can.
I ordered 4 drinks at a keg, got it because I couldn't sit in the bar thinking, sorry, I'm mumbling to myself, don't expect to be hearing from me here. That's why I ordered 4 drinks. Sorry, I think that I'm just going to pass on that particular question. That would be something that would be handled by our Field Resources Department. The next one is from Sarah, and I know who Sarah is because Sarah and I have been working very closely on a project. Hello, Sarah. What if there is a shift change with the employees? Good question. Again, I think we touched on this earlier, is that in some cases there might be a shift change. In some cases, they might just move sections. They might have been on a break. You just go with the flow, and you're doing your best to get whatever particular employee was identified as being the person. But in some cases, stuff happens, and you just go with the flow and write down the information that you receive based on your experience. The next question is from Elena. Oh, Elena's from Vancouver. Love Vancouver. Again, feel sorry for those Vancouver Canucks fans. Listen, not like the Leafs are a Stanley Cup contender this year, but I take pity on Calgary and Vancouver. Edmonton, well, heck, at least they have the draft choices. Sorry, might I digress here for a minute. So Elena is asking, will these assignments be available through your website as all the others, or will they be offered separately? Good question, Elena. We are changing the process in which these inspections are going to be offered. Typically, these inspections are handled by our Field Resources Department. They are not necessarily placed on the web. Chances are you've never seen very many, if any, of these inspections posted on our assignments. In some cases, you'll get a email from Ashley or one of the other folks in the office. That's just because of the privacy, the sensitivity of the information. We don't share them with everybody. Again, not that we don't trust all of our inspectors, but we're just being very, very careful, and there's going to be different ways that you'll be informed of the inspections. apparently that is it. I don't know if there's any other questions. By the way, I'm going to give the last secret word of the day, and the last word is volleyball. So your last word is volleyball. I'm just going to babble with somebody here for 10 seconds, and then I think that we're going to end things unless any other questions come in. In terms of knowing the training they're supposed to send Elena.
So they've been saying my name.
Mindy?
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry, folks. So just one last instruction just before we wrap up here. For two instructions, I guess. First of all, if anybody does have any questions after our seminar is complete in just a minute or two, please email Mindy. And again, Mindy's email is mindy@sqm.ca. That's mindy@sqm.ca. Secondly, so that we know the people who have gone through the training seminar today, this is what we're going to ask, and please listen to this carefully. What we're going to ask you to do is we're going to ask you to send Mindy an email. Again, Mindy's email address is mindy@sqm.ca. The only thing to put in the particular email that you're going to send to confirm that you've been here for this training seminar is in the email, in the subject line, you're going to be providing the 3 secret words that we have already provided you and your shopper code. We will not be opening up the emails. Do not include questions in those emails. They will not be provided. They will not be opened. This is strictly so that we could add to your shopper record that you are certified. So again, just to clarify and just to go over the instructions so that we know that you've attended today's seminar, please email mindy@sqm.ca. That is mindy@sqm.ca. In the subject line, please put the 3 secret words and your shopper code. Do not put anything in the body of the email. I have another question.
Oh, it's just they're starting. Okay.
Okay. Whoa, somebody is a keener. Look at this. It's flying in. So I think that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the last hour or so. I'm terribly sorry for taking a little bit more time to go over this, but it's taken a little bit more to getting used to on our end. Sorry, I do have another question, and maybe I'll just wrap up with this question here before I say goodbye. Please explain why the half-hour spacing between drinks is important in the bar inspection. A good question. 2 different reasons. First of all, we want to spread out so that you are also observing other aspects of the that are going on in the bar. Secondly, we don't want you getting drunk during the inspection because that might affect the credibility of the inspection. So we space it out. Hopefully, everybody that is having those first 2 beverages can handle a little bit of liquor if it's 30 minutes apart. I am told that there might be a couple more questions, so I'm just going to take a quick look. Okay, no, apparently that's it. So again, if you have any questions, email mindy@sqm.ca. We'll get to your questions as soon as possible. And again, so that we know that you've attended today's seminar, please email mindy@sqm.ca. In the subject line, the 3 words, the secret words, and your shopper code. Thanks very much. Again, thank you for being part of the SQM team, and have a great day or evening wherever you are. All the best. Bye for now.